Test. Testing. Good evening. Hello, my name is Aaron Weaver. Test. Testing, testing. Test. 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 Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Oh, fun. Quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Test, test. Testing, testing. Test. Nobody's here. Nobody's here. That's one hell of a way to address me.
Jesus, where are you supposed to put your stuff, Bill?
Oh, I'm just going out in case I can plug the laptop in. That's all I'm doing.
All right, let's go figure out. What laptop are you using? The one that Aaron put together? Oh, by the way, that battery goes dead quick. It lasts about an hour.
Yeah, they're old.
It lasts about an hour. I got a full charge and I unplugged it in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. They can call me when he's there. Probably, because there's gonna be 50 people down here. Better safe than sorry, you know. Okay. Okay.
That is why I came this way. And then the table is not supposed to be like that.
With the lighting and stuff, a lot easier to spreadsheet. And it has more functionality, so like, I mean, not that it matters, but like. That's on the projector.
Or over here.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the. I'm guessing the reserve over, I don't know. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 reserve songs over here. I don't know who that is.
Well, and then there's two over here. There's only two. But I would assume this is the part of it, for the usual.
Makes no sense. Why would the audience sit over there or they can't see the projector?
I'm just gonna hide over here in the corner. Is this your backpack?
No, I think it's Don's.
Don and Masters?
Yes, ma'am.
He's here?
Yes, ma'am. He's the gatekeeper. Sure.
Wait, Don's the one who's part of the door?
Yeah. Not police. Not Chris.
Interesting. Well, so I emailed Chris, I don't know if you were here, like a couple meetings ago, they were discussing it online, right, when we were at a Zoom meeting, and they were like, you know, we could just have Chris Yates guard the door. And so I sent an email and I said asterisk, Bouncer Yates. But he was out for his his son's heart surgery. So I was like, he probably is coming in like, okay, the late.
Yeah.
If I never heard someone out of him. Like, I don't know if he just has something today or if,
Had a hell of a last couple.
yeah, maybe he's like, I can't.
Yeah, because like his dad just passed. And that was under surgery.
Yeah.
All the COVID stuff. He's trying to figure out grant money. And they found out that the grant said, we got body, we're getting body cameras on them. But what they found out after we already bought the body cameras. Yeah. Like that was
I
nice.
guess what?
So, we have options. Come here, got options.
This guy wants to take all my laserfish money.
So, the only thing that will like, why? I reckon one double overtime and $40,000.
I'll buy you lunch.
$40,000.
What do you need? I'll buy whatever you want.
One double my salary now. What do you think? It's in the CARES Act.
No, no, no. Yes. Holding.
I can't do anything up there. The only thing he's done is literally when they're getting ready to do the presentation, is click that and then click PowerPoint. And then they can do everything here.
Yes. I'll go.
That's not what happened. That's what they were lying on.
So you do the second floor, you say all in the start.
Yeah, you can, you can already start it. Train's already begun. And YouTube's on this laptop. Yeah.
Tuesday, August 18th, 2020, meeting of the Danville City Council. Madam Clerk, roll call to establish quorum, please.
Junior,
Present.
Alderman Robert Williams,
Present.
Aaron Collier, Terry Pickering, Michael Payne, Bob Iverson, Doug Streaming, Mike Ford, Steve Foster, Sharon McMahon, Brenda Brown, RJ Davis, Van Duncan, James Bouchard, Tom Stone, 13 present.
13 present. At this time, we will have the invocation led by Alderman Brenda Brown, followed by the pledge of allegiance, led by Chairman Mike Moore. Please rise.
Almighty and Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for this wonderful day you provided for us. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for those that are in attendance tonight. God, we would ask your blessings upon each one in attendance. I pray in the name of Jesus and ask that you strengthen everyone here, our mayor and the staff that you building, oh God, that to make this city a great city and even a greater city by our works. God, we pray that you keep us as humble servants, and that Heavenly Father, you will bless this world, not only Danville, but this confused world, that we will have peace. Lord, granted, if you will, that because of the peace, our hearts will be humbled, oh God, to be good servants for you, and not about us, the fussing and fighting that goes on. But we do thank you for all your grace and mercy, and above all, we thank you for your love that causes us to be able to unite and serve together as one. And all the blessings we ask in the mighty name of Jesus.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we have the minutes from July 21st and August 4th. Is there a motion to approve them? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. We also have before you an agenda for this evening. There are no changes. Is there a motion to approve it as presented? Or move in seconds. Did you get that, clerk? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, same sign. At this time, I do not have any proclamations, board, committee, or personnel appointments. Are there any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? None. I do have one item of information. I can't recall specifically who, but Alderman, one of you asked me about Ameren moving, and I have received unofficial notice that they are moving, but I just don't know exactly what date. And it is my understanding that they will be moving into the Budweiser building until. It is also my understanding that this time they plan to honor their lease through the end of the term with us, so that would carry us through next fiscal year budget. So we will not have to figure out power for at least 2 more, well, at least a year and a half. And I do believe that Mr. Rui has received for us some estimates as to how much the power will be at the time we have to continue. We have to start paying it. I believe it's around $80,000 a year. So certainly substantive, but not nearly as expensive as I thought it could be. I don't have any other items at this moment. However, we do have citizens communications, audience comments. We'll start that with a public hearing by opening the public hearing for certification of the casino development and applicant. At this time, are there anyone here who wishes to speak in favor of the approval of the applicant? Is there anyone who wishes to speak against the application? So please come to the microphone and state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes to address the council. And the applicant is over here and on my right, your left.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Joseph Burrow. I'm the president of Kansas Capital Corporation. Because time is limited, I'll be brief. I recently sent a letter to the mayor and city council dated August 13th. I'm available to answer any questions related thereto. 10 main points in that letter. One, the city has absolutely no downside. Have multiple applicants proceed with applications. Number two, the interest of the state of Illinois should align with the interest of the city of Danville, as both entities receive income from the casino. Why, therefore, wouldn't allow the IGB to choose from among multiple applicants? Number three, the Illinois statute vests the selection authority with Illinois Gaming Board. Number four, only the IGB, not the city of Danville, not any applicant, truly knows whether that applicant is licensed. Number five, the city of Danville risks losing millions of dollars if the sole applicant is not approved and licensed by the IGB. Number six, that's a risk this city not take. All the city has to do is allow multiple applications to go forward with the city's blessing. Number seven, the city previously relied on a particular applicant to submit a complete licensable application. That did not occur. Number eight, I remind this council that the city eliminated our site when they suggested that a sewer capacity issue was present. The city has taken steps to eliminate that issue, quotes, and of greater importance, the impact on the timing of opening is moot because of the opportunity for a temporary casino. Number nine, it's naive to believe that a failure to be approved could not occur again. Unless someone was in the meeting, the closed door session of the IGB, they simply don't really know the reason or all the reasons why a firm failed to be approved. Number 10, the IGB has unparalleled expertise in cleanup and casino selection matters. The city does not have a level of such expertise, nor could they reasonably be expected to. I am respectfully asking that the members of this council invite additional applicants to obtain necessary approvals and negotiate necessary agreements with the city. The city of Danville has significant upside by inviting additional applicants and absolutely no downside by doing so. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak against the application? Anyone else who wishes to speak against the application? Seeing none at this time, I will close the public hearing now. Do we have any other cards for audience comments? I would just like to address a couple of points that Mr. O made. Because we have nothing to risk by submitting multiple applications. However, that's simply not true. The only two applicants that we had offered host community agreements, and this one gives us millions of dollars, not only up front, but it continues to make a destiny to the community, not only in the city of Danville directly, but in other entities. In fact, it gives us an additional $2.5 million a year to be admitted. The other entity that we had bid offered to sponsor some games and concerts. So I ask you, which is better, millions of dollars up front and millions of dollars per year and an ongoing commitment from an entity, or sponsorship of a few concerts and games? He also said that the IGB was an unparalleled expert. That is simply not true at all. These folks were recently appointed. They're lawyers and other various positions throughout. And while they're very good at being thorough and assessing suitability, to say that they're experts, no respect to the IGB board, because they're fantastic people and they're very smart people, but they do not necessarily have expertise at all in the gaming area. But they do have expertise determining whether or not people have the character and the resources to do the project, which Boomerang does. In terms of eliminating a site due to the sewer capacity, there were sites that were very limited by our sewer capacity previously. However, the good news is our preferred gaming partner has offered to pay $600,000 of our portion to repair that. So not only will this allow them to use their preferred site, but it will allow that entire swath of parcel area between I-74 and Main Street to be developed if they want to. I don't understand why we would give up control over the greatest thing that's going to happen economically to us in decades. I think that we can assess to ourselves what is best for our community. Madam Clerk, you said there were no further items. All right. At this time, I would like to invite Board Mr. Jimmy Wilmot to give a presentation on behalf of Danville Development LLC. And he will introduce with him the folks that are here with him. Mr. Wilmot, we have placed the podium such that you're within distance, that we would not wear your mask while you're here.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Make sure everybody's comfortable before you do this. My name is Jimmy Wilmot. My family is a third generation developer out of Western New York. We do casino developments. We are the sole owner of Danville Development. We're also the construction manager, developer, and operator. This application tonight, this is a new application. With that being said, I'd love to introduce Lou Lang, our consultant, and introduce the rest of the group and get us on our way.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, gentlemen of the board, and citizens of Danville. You've heard me at this podium before talking about gaming. I think all of you are aware of my history when I was in the legislature. And I have gladly moved forward with Danville Development. They have built casinos all over this country. They have been vetted in other states. We'll not have to worry about them being vetted by the gaming board. As you know, the legislature this year passed an amendment to the law that they passed last year. Last year, they allowed for Danville to have a casino. This year, at my urging and with the help of your legislators, they passed a law that allowed any community whose license had not yet been approved to start over. Subsequent to that, the Illinois Gaming Board suggested that the earlier application be withdrawn and that we start over. And that's what we're doing here. We're starting over with a group that's similar but not the same. We're starting over with accountable leadership that has been successful in other states and in other venues, and leadership that is going to build what they promised, start to finish. The plan we put together was ours, but let me tell you, to the aldermen and alderwomen, your mayor has been a strong and stalwart supporter of this board and of the citizens of Danville. He insisted on many things, and each and every one of the things the mayor insisted on somehow got their way into this proposal. A man of strong and many talents and very persuasive. And the plan that will be put before you today is the product of our work, but also the leadership of your mayor. This is a plan that is a great concept. It's a great for today in the city of Danville. It's great for the future of Danville. It has benchmarks regarding how and when this process will grow. Many of you I know are concerned about when we'll go to the next step and the next step. The plan put before you will include those benchmarks, and those benchmarks will be part of the application given to the gaming board. So that when the gaming board approves this application, those agreements become part of the application and can assure you that we must abide by them to protect the license that we will dearly hold. And so this was well thought out, well put together. You've got people that are going to run this start to finish. We don't need other companies to come in and build it. We don't need other companies to come in and manage it. We don't need other companies to come in and run it. You will know who's accountable. You will know who to go to. And when the gaming board sees this application, they will approve it. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you again this evening. Let me bring Jimmy Wilmot back to the podium to introduce the rest of the
Thank you, Lou, and we appreciate all your guidance through this process. I'd love to introduce myself and my company, but we have our sitting chairman since 1980 who came in today to be here and introduce himself to you all aldermen, yourself, mayor, and the city in general. So this time I invite my father, Tom Wilmot Sr., our chairman since 1980, to give a little brief history on the company.
You see, I'm showing my age, I'm dropping things. Just a little history about the company. It was started in the 40s by my father, James. It basically doing single family homes. When the veterans came back from the Second World War, there was a huge housing demand. We were building literally thousands of ranch homes, $7,500 and for 1,200 feet. And under the GI Bill, it was 50 down and 50 a month. I still have the newspaper. Yeah, it's times have changed. We continued to move the company forward. We started to do some apartment building. By the 50s, we were doing nursing homes, some hotel type construction, continued on in the single family home business. In the 40s, my dad had started another company, Page Airways, which was called a fixed base operation. And when I started working, I spent a lot of time constructing, renovating, or expanding fixed base operations for aircraft at 35 airports down East Coast of Florida and as far west as Las Vegas. We continued in the 60s to do larger projects. We were doing a lot of urban renewal projects, which included hotels, office buildings, parking decks, public parks. It was those kind of projects were exciting. They were usually well received within the community. They were not controversial. In the early 60s, we did our first large 500,000 square foot retail facility called a strip center. It's over, we still own that property. It's 60 years old. It's had probably 10 renovations, and it's more now what we would call lifestyle property with about 8 restaurants, and that sort of kind of upscale retail development. My dad passed in 1980, and I became chairman of the company. I thought our best opportunities at that time were in the closed regional mall business. And we ended up with a portfolio between then and the mid-90s. People stopped building and closed regional malls. The country became saturated. But we built 20, bought or acquired and renovated 20 properties during that time frame. We sold the majority of those in 2005 to Macerich, $2.5 billion. At that time, we also recognized that there was really no growth in the mall business. So we were looking for other opportunities when we came into the gaming field. We thought it was a growth opportunity, and we pursued that since mid-90s. We also have a division that does student housing on university campuses or adjoining them. I think we've done 14 student housing projects starting in the 1994. So we're in 4 states. Those projects were opening. We just opened at Durham, Duke University, Friday. 220 beds and approximately that number of students. It's a little exciting now with the coronavirus, the testing of so we've had a long history in the development business. The 3rd generation has arrived. We're trying to push me out, but I think I'll hang in there for a couple more years.
Mr. Wilmot, we hear that you're on your third 5-year retirement plan.
Yeah. Jim's here who will head up the development on this project. There, he handles all our financing aspects of the project. Griffin is our attorney with Harris Street, so he's representative. Very basic chair, who will actually be the general manager will be open. Here he has 40 years in the gaming business, so we believe he knows what he's doing. And we also have our architect here today who will be making that presentation. Really excited about what they've put together. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. And we're very excited to be in this community. We do not try to do 10 projects a year. We basically are 1 or 2 projects a year. We don't really do 10. Friday, just started construction at the University of Rochester for a $250 million orthopedic center. But this is where we really be concentrated. And we appreciate the welcoming of everyone we've met with here. Thank you so much. And I introduce our architect.
Thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure to be here this evening to meet with all of you. My name is Pete Maruska. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of KDG. We're an architecture, interior design, and engineering company based in St. Louis, Missouri. We were founded in 1974 and doing primarily commercial construction projects. Very similar to Wilmerite, we saw in around 1990 the opportunities that were beginning to present themselves initially in the river road gaming industry. We got involved with gaming projects at that time, and frankly, that's been one of the primary focuses of our firm over the last 30 years, has been in the gaming and hospitality market. We've done projects all over the country in that time. We've done projects in Illinois. We did the original Alton Bell Casino when it first opened. More recently, we did the Casino Queen Hotel, and subsequent to that, when they did and moved their project land-based, we were the architects and engineers on that project. We have worked with Wilmerite, I believe, for the last 15 years or so, and actually worked with Erie Basin. Started 30 years ago, we our first project together down in Louisiana. We're very excited to be here. We have worked, also just want to point out, showing we've worked with a lot of very familiar names in the gaming industry in that time. This is just a small sampling of some of the notable casino clients that we've worked with in that time. So we're experts in this field. We've done this many times before. Bring a great deal of experience to bear on projects like this, and we're extremely excited to be involved with the city of Danville and Wilmerite on this project. Me personally, I'm a licensed architect. I'm registered in about 35 states. I've been with the company for 33 years and spent the majority of that time working on our hospitality practice. I will be intimately involved in the development of this project from beginning to end. I'll introduce my partner, Linda Ellsworth.
Hi, Linda Ellsworth. I am Executive Vice President at Human Design Group, the Director of Design Technology. Day to day, I'm over the architectural and interior department, directing our design efforts on the projects we have in the office. This one, was near and dear to our heart. We're just, a few hours away. We'll be here a lot during the planning process and construction process as we season and assuming that we go way back with the Wilmerite group, especially the Terry and our previous adventure of designing and building this. So thank you for having us here. We look forward to working with you all.
Linda. So the next couple slides, I'm just going to show you, you don't do this every day for a living. It's kind of hard to see what something can look like throughout the various stages of development. And what does it look like when you're completed? So this slide is a casino we built in New York, halfway between Syracuse and Rochester, New York. We found the site. We had our architects design it. That's your top right photo. And comparing what they designed to what is finished is pretty close. So what we show you tonight is going to be very similar to what we built. That's the kind of the point of these next few slides. This casino, just a top line on it, was a $455 million casino. Woolwright worked as the construction manager, developer, and 50% owner. It is a true resort casino that had slots, tables, restaurants, sports books, hotel, spa, you name it, we had it. Arizona and California, we just completed in April of 2019. Our project director on this project for the construction will also be the project director on this project. As you can see, we picked the site. We were actually forced into the site because of a reservation, but we drew it up. That's the top right. That's what we finished with. So what you see and we draw and we show you tonight is going to be very similar to what you get. We focused on this project. It's a $250 million project. Like we said, it finished in April, and we'll continue on the next one. So we talk about this casino. It's very similar to what we're proposing for the first phase of our project here in Danville. We built this in 2007 for the Otoe, Missouri tribe in Oklahoma. It was a small $25 million casino, and it was just slots, tables, limited dining, a very true casino product. Over the last 13 years, that casino has expanded into what is a true resort. As you can see, they have doubled their casino floor. They've added 2 hotels, a water park, an event center, various amenities to support that. This started as a small structure, but Rome wasn't built in a day. It was built with strategic planning. So this is a great testament to the tribe, to development. We were happy to be a part of the project. One of the big changes since the last time we were here before you is we've selected a new site for the casino. The site we have selected is 204 Eastgate Drive. We love this site. There are various reasons why we love this site. We'll get into that a little bit later. But as you can see, it is on the northwest side of Highway I-74, what we like to consider the Northern Hotel District. There are 543 hotel rooms within a stone's throw of where we are locating the site. The first phase, we do not plan to have a hotel, so having the additional rooms in the area is very advantageous for this casino. We love it because it's high, dry, all utilities are currently pulled to that site. There is a sewer issue, as the mayor mentioned earlier. We do plan on covering all costs of the city on that, which is proposed to be around $600,000. Another reason we love this site is because it is enclosed. You do not have to deal with the winters that Illinois deals with, and especially Southern Illinois. We do not have to deal with long lead items such as steel, site work, any type of environmental controls. This is a fully permitted site that just needs a few encroachment permits and zoning. So we love this site. One thing that's also unique about this site is we do plan on building out in phase 1, the total building. We will have 15,000 square feet of shelf space. So once we're open, if we figure out we need something else, more dining, meeting space, whatever it is, we have the ability to immediately move forward. We do not have to wait to build a new building to do that. It saves a lot of time. When we chose this site, we were challenged by the city. Why are you doing this versus doing a greenfield parcel? And there's a lot of reasons when you do this every day that it helps to do it, but we wanted to put it on paper. Post-COVID, post-Terre Haute, post-Table Gates in Indiana, we went out to our creditors, we went out to our investors. We found out that they'd be willing to spend about $100 million in the first phase. So our challenge was, what can we do for $100 million on our site that makes the most sense for the community? And what can we do for $100 million on a greenfield parcel? And as you'll see quickly here, it's a lot less on a greenfield. For $100 million, we can only build about 300 slots, 0 tables, and limited dining, versus $100 million on a existing renovation. We can build 500 slots, 10 tables, 42,000 square feet, a food court, and a steakhouse, as well as 10 table games. So we then went and modeled these to see what they look like. The truth is, it's a lot less. Year 1, comparing the smaller greenfield project, it only ends up being about $2.5 million a year to the state, $36 million on the top line. Versus Year one in the 204 Eastgate site, it's about $66 million on the top line, about $6.2 million to the city. So it was easy to see that we could get more jobs, more revenue to the city, and actually be open faster by going to 204 Eastgate. So those are reasons we love that site. Like we did in those earlier presentations, it's hard to tell what it's going to be when it's done when you don't do this all the time. So here's what 204 Eastgate Drive looks like now. Here's what it's going to look like where we're finished. You're looking at a very modern casino, lots of glass, lots of light, high ceiling peaks that catch the eye, very attractive. It does not confuse yourselves for a Paradise or an Indiana Grand, a Hoosier Park. This will be uniquely new casino. One of the fundamentals we're really looking forward to doing, and we took some leeway with naming, Abe's Steakhouse. We plan on doing an indoor-outdoor dining facility that would point to the road to be the first thing you saw. We pulled into the site, from fire pits, awnings, a dancing stage, and performing center. It'll be a lot of fun. Here is a site plan, which was a little smaller and a few pages back. As you can see, the site lays out well for what we're proposing. We have over 700 parking spaces, which allows us to adequately park for our first, maybe even our second phase of this facility. We did just quickly how much acres we need to get to a full phase 3. Be closer to 15 to 20 acres. We either have to acquire land around us or to be able to find another site. But that's kind of what it looks like. Some renderings of what phase 2 and phase 3 look like are the next few. You can see the hotel in the background, large pylon sign. There's meeting space incorporated into this. And another view of what the hotel could look like from the other side, the back side of this building. Just some images of what we've done in the past and what we expect. So top right and middle right are casinos we've built in the past, Harrah's and Del Lago. So these are the level of finish we expect in our properties. This is the level of finish we expect in Danville, Illinois. Our image board, this is very similar across the country now. These are all getting a little standardized, but there's lots of TVs. They're light, they're fun, they're approachable. You're going to see poker games at the tables in some select seats. And they're pretty standardized, but we'll do our best to make it unique. So everybody thinks the stigma around food courts, we're going to do something new, modern. The top right is the food court we built at Del Lago. I envision it being somewhere in the range of all of these. The steakhouse image board, the top left and the top right are what we did at Harrah's, Northern California. I do see it being very similar to what we're proposing here. Is soft seating, fire pits, awnings, really take advantage of the weather when you have it. People love to sit outside when the weather is good. We want to make sure that they feel comfortable, have a lot of action when they pull off Lynch Drive or Lynch Road, get into our site. They see this, they see something fun, it makes you want to come over. So one of the biggest questions we were asked when we came up with this proposal was, are we going to live up to the previous commitments made in the host community agreement? After speaking with the city and having the mayor have some uncomfortable conversations with us, the answer is yes, and now because of the hard work of your mayor, and then some. So not only are we committing to the same commitments of $3 million up front, $2 million of which goes to the city and $1 million goes to the Boys and Girls Club, $300,000 annually in non-gaming related. So if we do well or bad, that gets paid. The construction jobs, the permanent jobs, the procurement, all the items we spoke about, we were going to live up to, and then some. What I mean by and then some, we already spoke about the sewer improvements. We're going to cover those. We're committing that we're going to spend up to $100 million in the first phase and give you what we're talking about in this proposal. We've also been asked, and we've agreed to, doubling the EBITDA commitment from 4% to 8%. And what that means on an annualized basis is it goes from about 1.2 million to about 2.5 million in our first year projection. That grows year over year. So in a 10-year period, that's about a $15 million additional commitment to the city. We're proud to do that. The other item that the mayor pushed hard on was, you showed me a lot of pretty pictures. How do we get there? So we've taken estimates based on our projections and put them in writing that if we produce at this level, we'll have to spend at least another $20 million. If we hit another trigger, we'll have to spend at least another $40 million on top of that. This will be a condition of licensure by the Illinois Gaming Board. If we do not live up to this, we are risking our license. There is also provision in the host community agreement that states the mayor will have the last look at the license application before it's turned in, to make sure that everything we've committed to in this presentation today is not only included, but also is verified by himself. With that, we just want to say thank you again for giving us this opportunity. We are very excited as a company. Like my father said, we don't do a ton of projects. We're very selective, and we love this opportunity. Looking forward to getting it done and happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you very much. You have been, actually, I almost forgot something. I did want to also make sure that we invited our Director of Economic Development, as Alicia Sain's saying, to just talk about a few of the other advantages that our community will receive as a benefit of this concept.
Mayor and city council and audience members. So from my side of this, about the benefits, the economic impact that this sort of project will have on Danville and County. So I put together some notes and just some things to think about. When you think of a project of this magnitude, you have to think in terms of the big picture and where all these dollars will come from. So the very first step, are all your pre-engineering. That's a job for somebody. The construction jobs that will follow that will put folks to work. And we're talking hundreds of jobs, not just a few. So before the doors are even open, hundreds of people are now working. So from that will come hotel stays. Our hospitality industry has been all but decimated due to COVID. So we've got 550 rooms out in Eastgate that will immediately begin to see some relief there with the work crews that will be coming into town. Then off of that, if you're here, you have to eat, you have to wash your clothes, you have to buy personal items. So there is a very, very big effect to all of this, and it does matter. When we had the roofers in town last year that were fixing all the hail damage, we had a surplus of millions of extra dollars coming in sales tax, not in sales tax, sorry, Mayor, but in money spent in town that people were able to capture. So these are very real dollars. We talked about the workforce, but that gets spin off into that. Now we're talking about creating programs, we're creating curriculums in hospitality and certain other things. So this thing will ripple out very, very big throughout the county and the community. Products and services, I've already started working with Aaron to talk about who can supply what, paper, marketing materials. We're talking about, farm to table is a huge topic right now. So if we have a steakhouse, how great would that be to get a local cut or a local steak or a local something? We have a lot of things to offer here with the winery. We've got some microbreweries. So there's a lot of ways that we can spread these dollars around within the community. Already talked about the economy boost, but when you think about the Riverwalk and the Boys and Girls Club and all of these things that are definitely high priority items, but in terms of priority, that has to be adjusted a little bit when the dollars are a little tight. So you can do more. You can improve your city. You can have improve your home and make it a better place to live, work, and play when you've got those additional dollars flowing through. We're talking beautification, we're talking parks, things that other communities can do that we simply can't because our priorities have to be shifted a different way. Ancillary developments, and we were talking about this with the Carl project, and this is the same. You're going to have people that say, hey, if this is coming, I would like to come. Retail is a big thing that will spur from development and from large investments like this. So think about that as well. I've spent the past 5 years or more trying to get food options out in that area, and they just will not come because there are no rooftops. Even though we've got 3,000 actually people that work out in that corridor, and 25 to 30,000 a day that come by on 74, it's the rooftops that they're after. And I think that if we get this development out there, that will definitely change their lives, okay? So keep that in mind. This is all just one big flow. Even before, if you're not a gambler, let's say if you're a weary traveler on the highway and you see this sign, you don't have to be a gambler to stop at one of the restaurants inside. You don't have to gamble to go to the steakhouse. These are places that people will take their families. This will be a destination. So those 3,000 people that I talked about in Eastgate that don't have any food options will have somewhere to go during their lunch breaks to grab a good meal and not have to come all the way to town. So that solves a very big issue out there with the food desert that we've been struggling with. In closing, Any project of this scale will have change. Our world is a completely different world than we lived in when we submitted the application in October. So I would honestly say that this is a blessing that we've had the opportunity to catch our breath, plan, come forward with something that the IGB will think is reflective of our current situation. I would like to thank the mayor for his diligence. That application was every bit 2.5 to 3 inches, okay, front and back, and you read every single page. And I took some notes because, you know, you did have those uncomfortable conversations, but you did it for the city of Danville to get us the very best offer, the very best deal, and the most money. That's most for the city. So, thank you very much.
This time, do you have any questions for our potential customer or? Yes, Vice Mayor Iverson. Basically, we should be able to hear you without having to move it, but if not, I'll let you know.
Oh, Aaron. The other day, I think there was reluctant to call me because the other day I had 11 questions. Today I'm down to 7 and I already answered one of them. We're moving on. Giving in his group. Let me begin by saying I'm a passionate supporter of the casino. It's something that we've been trying to do to see the late position. And you have to understand my concerns of what I'm going to say. It's based on the ups and downs Danville's had. They've suffered about the casino for too long. I'm bringing up these questions because people in the city have some of these same concerns. And since many of the public can't be here tonight, I thought it would be time to say some of this. You made a great presentation. Your plan to be a welcome improvement to the city, no question. However, you've been giving lots of really great presentations at the city council, and we are all looking forward to the excitement they assured us was coming to the city. But then we learned the Illinois Gaming Board was ready to reject the gaming proposal as insufficient. Why do you feel your proposal will be approved by the gaming board? And basically, why should the Danville public get excited again now? What is it that you can assure us of to get us to not just say, oh, here we go again, but to say, oh boy, it's really going to come to this. And I go, question by question, you
I'd say, once again, this is a new proposal. You're talking about accountability at one company, not talking about looking out for who's going to come the equity, who's going to come in at different levels, who's going to do construction, do operations. You have accountability at one company. So from the perspective of how do you get this done, you don't have to call 3 people if we can't get this done. You can call me directly. And I'll walk you through everything that we're doing to get this, make this a reality. So you have a level of accountability that I don't believe you had before. As far as getting the community excited, obviously the world's changed a little bit. Nobody expected to be in the position we are in today. Nobody expected the social distancing for public hearings and for city meetings. But we are very excited about this project, but we're also prefacing it by the fact that 25% of hotels across the country are currently in bankruptcy. So we had to go back. We had to look at the plan. We had to adjust the plan to be in the reality we are in today. And while this certainly gets you to Rome, it's certainly not in the first phase. We understand that. But it is exciting. You're going to have something that's unique. You're going to have something that with the hotels in our area, with the offerings that Danville has for its natural resources and parks, we're going to have a reach in the outer markets. We're going to drive tourism to this area. We are excited to do this, and we appreciate the belief in you, the belief the city has in us. And we look forward to meeting and exceeding the expectations that are set.
When are you going to submit the plan to the IGB?
As soon as possible. We have a couple boxes to check, including zoning. Once those are completed, we plan on having an application in front of the mayor for his review.
So phase 1 construction could start theoretically by October, or?
They do not take my opinion or timing at the Illinois Gaming Board, nor should they. It would be a conflict. But we like to think that they're doing due diligence. They've certainly put a lot of time into these applications so far. They mentioned in their last Illinois Gaming Board meeting that they wanted Danville to have a casino license. So we believe that spring 21 is probably likely for an application to have the full review and approval. And we have about a 8 to 9 month construction schedule. So it could be as early as the end of 2021 or all within a year of getting a license for the Illinois Gaming Board.
In phase one, how many slots, like how many tables?
Sure. 500 slots, 10 tables, and that includes a grab table. That's a lot more seats.
How long for all three phases? I know it's passed, it's not a lot of stuff, but how long did you anticipate for phase 2 and 3?
So as we committed in the host community agreement, if we were to hit our numbers within 24 months of opening, we would start planning and construction for phase 2 with 24 months of completion of that. If we were to hit the second set of goals, we would start plans and construction on phase 3. So this could all come together if we are so successful and the world stays as it is today, to have all phases done within the next 6 years.
So what you're saying is that if we approve you tonight, that maybe that your dad will make it through his next 5-year retirement.
Yeah, I think he's gonna still be allowed the ribbon cutting, phase 2 and phase 3. We are so lucky to have him still as part of the team and as our leader of this project, and his wealth of knowledge and ability to work with over 30 communities over the course of his career will show in the development and planning of this project. So we're very lucky to have him as part and the relationship that we're developing with the city.
This is obviously a big project. What should companies invest in? How much is this costing you? You got to pay for the license, you got to buy
Sure.
land, etc.
By the time we break ground, we'll spend probably close to $30 million because of the license fees and the timing on them and the commitments to the city. So 30 million by the time we break ground, 100 million by the time we're open.
Like I said, I'm looking against your proposal.
Yeah.
I'm here before and disability. I'll be extra on the move and get it through.
We will too.
Do you have any additional questions?
Not there.
All right, thank you. All of the other questions or comments? At this, Timmy, what we'll do is, of course, we would like you all to stay for this part, we're to answer any questions. At this time, we've had our presentation. We do have before you item 9, the resolution confirming acceptance of casino operating partner. I would ask for a motion to approve. Been moved by Chairman Fuller. Start with it. Second by Alderman Dicker. Any discussion or debate? The quietest I think I've ever seen you all before. Yes, Alderman Williams. Excuse me. Yes,
About the project itself as far as the hiring, how is that handled for the minorities? Someone answer that.
One of the things that you will see in the host community agreement is that they have committed to a percentage of minority hiring. Henry will largely be in charge of that. But you'll see under the HCA agreement, which was at your seat this evening. Sorry, could you pull the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
If you look at the slide that's up on the board here, there will be part of it is part of the community agreement. We have a commitment, these are minimum numbers of 40% women, 30% minority, 5% vets. To achieve those, as we have in other communities, we will very early in the process, during the construction process, and prior to that, reach out to the local workforce groups and other agencies that we have in the community to help us source and meet and exceed these numbers. And I've been doing this for about 40 years. My record is that every property I've run, every property I've been a part of has exceeded these type of goals. Not necessarily these numbers, but whatever the stated goals were. And Alderman, if you ever have any question about it, like Jimmy said with the other things, call me directly. You have my card from yesterday.
Any other questions?
Thank you for the meeting. I really appreciate that because I did get a lot of my questions out. I like the idea of using an existing project. It's always nice to have something brand new from the ground up, but I like that they have been diligent in their work and how much money they were borrowing. And bringing it to taking out one of the abandoned properties that's been vacant for a very long time out there. So I like the way that they think. Okay, that hey, we can't do this, but we can do that. And I really think you're going to be very successful. I like your plan. I like the way you put it together, and I like the fact that you properties to make sure that you don't have any of those expenses from the ground up. And I wish you good luck.
Yes, Alderman Davis. This is to Vice President and also to the developer. This council voted, there was an organization wanted to come to Danville and make a lot of money. And this council voted, approved of them coming here. And this council thought that we were complete on how they would operate with their company. And somehow there was some discrepancy that relates to them doing what we thought they said they would do. And you had a little bit of disagreement about that. The reason why I'm saying that is that I spoke to the developer a few minutes ago in the back there privately, and this one-time upfront payments, and now you all can show us on the graph, like you stood up and from Oliver Williams' question about high minorities, et cetera, and then you showed it up to us, and then also the young lady from our group here, she kind of helped him, to show him exactly what you all said, what's on the graph, and what we all met with you all and talked about, so to speak. But where I'm going with that is, you can say a lot of things with your mouth, and you can put it down stuff on paper, but I would hope that these one-time payments, and it was explained to me, he helped me, the developer helped me on this. I would hope that we wouldn't have to go through any kind of crazy stuff. And I know that's street language when I say stuff. I use better words than that. I would hope we wouldn't have to go through what we halfway gone through with this other organization in terms of what they want to renege on some things. Because we certainly voted for particular things and they didn't do it. But some of the council said, well, we don't know. I asked the mayor, I said, hey, wait a minute. Some of my constituents who really need one of the things that I voted for that organization. And they said, well, we don't do that. Now, my other councilmen, they can say what they want to say and not say what they want to say. But I get sick and tired of organizations coming that want to come and bring money to this town. And we need money, all citizens. But at least stick to your word. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say? I'm just simply saying, and for my alderman, Sherman, man, I say the same thing. We understand you come in, we understand the money that's in casinos. We understand the money that's in pot. We just hope that I'm saying, they don't have to say, you can say if you want, I'm saying, stick to what you say in terms of this, particularly if we make the votes on that like that. You gentlemen understand where I'm coming from, and lady? You understand what I'm saying? What Alderman Davis is saying? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Wilmot, just to give you a little bit of history, recently we've had a marijuana dispensary open. It was the understanding of some that they would also sell medicinal marijuana. However, that is not the case. They sell it, but they're not able to give the discounted price because of state regulations. And so that's been a problem for Reverend Davis and for us because of not meeting what we understood their obligation to be. So I think Alderman Davis, if I've understood you correctly, you're asking Mr. Wilmot, how can we be assured that you'll keep our commitments to us?
What I was going to suggest was simply that Well, I can give you the names of 10 supervisors or mayors who we've been doing business with for a number of years. You can, I'll send you an email with their telephone numbers and let them know that you may be calling, and I'm sure they'd be happy to speak to you and give you the assurances that for many years, we've lived up to any commitments we've made. We're very proud of the reputation of the company, and I think that's why we've been approved in many communities and why we've been able to be licensed in a number of states.
Thank you, Alderman. I would just add to that, although I certainly trust and have a great deal of respect for the Wilmot family and the Wilmerite and Danville development, we've had some things that help provide us assurance that we didn't have the first time. Number one is that, I have to review and approve the final document before it's submitted to ensure that whatever we approve tonight, that's exactly what they submit to the gaming board for approval. The other thing that we have in our pocket is, God forbid, let's say that they are dishonest. I don't believe that for a moment, but let's say that they were. If they do not meet the commitments that they made to us, the gaming board has the ability to revoke their license. And quite frankly, I don't think that they would, forgive the pun, but be willing to gamble hundreds of millions of dollars over $1 million. I would. So, appreciate that, John. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Chairman Board, I just like to spend in our own committee, the steering committee, been going around for about 15 months now, interviewing, meeting with people, ups and downs, promises weren't fulfilled, never multiple overrides or publications. But I feel very strongly of from our family, on the right, what they proposed. We've been meeting with them since February, March. And what they propose, their family believes, their family, when they work together, I just think that having that something, that character and the morals they bring is very beneficial to this project. We know with our first application, there were too many different name changes. You remember, started off with Cielo, and it went to Haven, and there was no way that application was probably when it was submitted. Number one, it couldn't be amended. So to have them come up or step up, take this on as one company, and still be willing to more than a match what we had in the original agreement. That's phenomenal. So I would encourage everyone to be perfect on this. As Jimmy said, this is then go, once we pass the resolution, have to zoning, and of course, that would all be part of the application that the mayor would receive, and if he submitted. Okay, and then submitted to the game for that. So, still going to be a process, and one I'm looking forward to being part of.
When is it scheduled to go to zoning?
September 3rd.
Alderman, other questions or comments?
Just looking back, I felt when we voted on the first, that we should have a unanimous vote. Particularly that anything other than unanimous might cause the state to have concerns why things. So, presentation that the other people made, very good. I like the things you're going to do. Similar to projects 2 or 3. Practicality of how you do this is that based on what a good logic would seem to be for anybody, And that is if they can meet or exceed. And I thought, so on minimum lines on your. And I think they qualify because the people that did that, I think were the same people who one of the group projections anyway. So based on that, look at your scorecard. Let's talk about every time any of you go to a grocery store or one of the devices from my wife, I know that I can only read the label. Instead of gluten-free, okay, no GMO, okay, I need that. No kinds of fats, all right, I need that. You know, it's down to 200. I'm careful, my wife's careful, and I know that you're careful. But the bottom line is you have to trust the label. You have to trust it. To be honest with you, I like to see what you made in the USA. In the USA, I'll take the one that's really but here we are again. We really have to trust people that what they say they do, they will do. They certainly have a record. It's merit my trust. The only questions I had to bring up was kind enough to answer some to me of all your information. All of them prior. I know the German. Stuff a little bit. So we were able to develop good questions. Now, constrained questions, I only got like one email, 4 or 5. And all of those were questions that I already had before I got. So I would ask. One of the concerns was, how did it turn whether or not the state had legislated a cutoff date or a date where like 2 strikes and you're out, because I figured what if these people turn wrong? One of the reasons. So I wanted to make sure that that was not the case, or if it was the case, should we consider applications? I'm not quite sure how we got their application. First of all, I never actually talked about it. But so I'm pretty well determined that there's no law that says that we did pass an ordinance which could be decided that we had a cutoff date for all applicants here. But the point is, I like the presentation that it makes me change, regardless of whether or not, at least for any reason, to go back in this allowable. So that someone else can see. And also include, there's no reason why we shouldn't be extremely welcome and approve this tonight, because it has nothing to do with if they turn out to be bad. Apparently, we can still reapply. We can still have. I would say this: it might be pretty difficult for any new applicant to met. There has already negotiated with the first group. It does exceed the first group considerably. So, saying all that, I hope that they do get approved, because it might be difficult to get anybody else that can come close to what's happening. And also, in a way, it's very conservative.
Jimmy, might you or Yuri speak to Chairman Foster brought up a good point that I think is important for the community to know that this is a conservative estimate. This is simply if we only were phase 1, no, you can speak to that. Or Yuri.
The performance, well, the main performance, go to that page. It's a 10-year projection. And this takes into consideration several things. It takes into consideration, the casino in Indiana, which is Terre Haute. It takes into consideration, table games being added to not just casinos. And it takes, consideration only a 3% growth in costs, even though we intend, as we heard earlier, to hit phases 2 and 3 sometime within the next 4 to 6 years. The numbers you see here and the fees coming to the city only contemplate phase 1 revenues with a very conservative 3% year-over-year growth. We wanted to come here, not promise you the world, but promise you something. And that is our question.
And this does not include sportsbook either.
It does not include any mobile or retail.
It also does not include any property taxes.
Also, as a follow-up, I have a question that is trying to answer what you're saying. However, just for the record, I also asked you, how is the coronavirus been factored into this? Nobody knows. I know some people are not doing well. So, if you address it again to the public.
It's factored in. Our construction plan is that operating as regional casinos are operating now under the same conditions, the casino will be built. Take, for instance, we've added an additional 10,000 square feet to our original plan. That'll give us more space. We have more space to reach out into the reserved area if we need that. COVID is taking into the consideration of the plan is that there will be obviously improvements, but it is like the regional casinos are performing today. And if you look across the country, regional casinos are doing much better than destination casinos. Gambling dollars are staying local and they're staying regional. Las Vegas is not recovering as quickly.
You also mentioned too that you've got design set spacing and stuff so that if we had to, you would be able to.
We're able to put up the screening, we're able to, there'll be different, a lot of it is cleaning protocols, a lot of it is air filtration. Actually, casinos for a long time have been out ahead of public air filtration because it's smoking.
After I'm determined that you can factor this in very carefully. I thought there's a very good chance that the conservative says that we'll do better. And if so, I look at the expected year future fund future. And I read somewhere in this report, I read somewhere in this report that if you exceeded in any certain period of time, a certain amount of money, which was large, you would start immediately on your face, fine, you wouldn't wait. Would you address that a little bit?
The last provision before the mayor's review of our application is that if we were to exceed $130 million AGR, $50 million EBITDA, we basically be chased off our site and have to expand faster, find a bigger location, and to design quicker than that. We are built to accommodate more than what we are projecting. We're certainly not built to accommodate 3 million guests a year, which would kind of be what we'd be expecting for property with that type of AGR. So we would have to, we'd be chased off that site. We need more parking, we need more square footage. We need to have more infrastructure, more amenities to serve those guests. So if we hit that in any one year, we will be forced to not only as a condition of our license, but also as an ability to service our guests to go bigger. So that would be an any time, any rolling 12 months.
This year you do quite well. You don't know those numbers to start to face.
Oh, yes. We hit a certain metric, we will not wait. Yeah. I hope to be here explaining that to you in 12 to 14 months. Everybody, we gotta go. Oh, yes, it would be me. Or dad, be on a sport retirement plan at that time.
Mr. Farr, across here also, you said something about how they will marry.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so I believe you addressed that earlier and that you came on, Haven withdrew, but you came on with them, right?
That is correct.
Okay, and then they dropped off and you continued.
That is correct. Yeah.
I just,
Yeah. Oh, I get an ask, are you in or out? Yes or no? First paragraph of the letter.
Alderman Trophy, I did have a question to begin with. Because it says after 24 months, it's 80 million and GDR 30 million after the. But in your estimates, that's not, and those two, that combination is not projected.
Yes. According to that projection, the year in front of you, which we believe is conservative, that would be the time frame. We're hoping to beat it. We gotta move. That's correct. Yep.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, vote, Madam Clerk.
Iverson?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
McMahon?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Davis, Duncan, Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Pickering. Yes. O'Kane.
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. This is the Wilmot family, and to all your associates, we look very much forward to working with you all. And appreciate that. I know that some of you all have flights to catch, et cetera, so if you need to be excused, you're most welcome. So we appreciate you.
Wherever you're going.
I will take you back out. All right, thank you very much. This item we have before us several building positions. If there being no objection, I would ask that I would review the motion to approve a resolution approving the semifinal subdivision plat DMX Danville subdivision, and item B, a resolution approving the final subdivision plat DMX Danville subdivision simultaneously. Seconded. Any discussion or debate? This is the plot in between the two districts.
No, it is currently, it has one address and they're gonna split it into 3 building addresses. Yes.
Logan, this is between the Starbucks and the OSF, Ergo, correct?
No, it is the entire, it's Starbucks, middle lot, and the Ergo. It's that entire lot.
Okay, I guess.
Yes.
Yes, so there's only one not available, but then they'll go for line in between them.
Correct.
I thought we were adding the, I misunderstood. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Streety?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Foster? McMahon? Brown? Davis? Shar? Jones?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Toya?
Yes.
Pickering? O'Kane?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, motion carries. We also have before you item 10C, an ordinance amending zoning ordinance and map to approve county system number 278 for 1022 North Michigan Avenue. I would entertain a motion to dispense with reading for its approval. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Yes. Alderman Trolley, I apologize. The five directions shifted on. Quite a little bit.
If you wanted to go back into industrial, can it be sold? What happens if we rezone again in industrial, what wanted to go there?
Yeah, the person that purchased it or developer could rezone it, or it could be administered, changed by the city.
The mountain around.
Property north of June Bank, we're talking about here.
Oh, what industry is across the street from, correct, as far as I can trace it back to, it was a future land use map, 2008. That's correct. That is out of city limits, correct.
I think probably we would have to ask whoever the new owner is that question. He asked if there was any chance that they would want to be, the property would like to be annexed into the city.
They're currently there. I know there was some public comment about different things, potential for put by this, or complaint about industrial like that. They're already living there, and they're fine with that. So it's a matter of being able to consummate it and bring it on the same time.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Ford?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
McMahon? Brown? Davis? Shar?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Toya?
Yes.
Pickering? O'Kane?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Streety?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, motion carries. Item 11 is approval of payroll for August 7th and 14th of this year. Is there a motion to approve those? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call, please.
Alderman Foster?
Yes.
McMahon? Brown? Davis? Shar?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Toya?
Yes.
Pickering? O'Kane?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Streety?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. Item 12 is the approval of vouchers payable. You have a special run for August 6th as well as the regular runs on the 11th and August and the 18th. Is there a motion to approve those? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Vice Mayor Iverson.
invoices were sent to the finance department from Cameron for the period listed there on their schedule about your example. We paid those. We are now receiving a refund because it was so we should be on. Yes, it was very frustrating.
Surgeons, they're all listed as urgent needs.
I will probably want to look at comments for that, those are tied with our CDC coronavirus.
I don't have a clue what the surging means. They're just the rental or vehicle assistance payments, what they are. Correct. Yeah, it's CDG dollars. Yep.
Advice there, I get to sign every one of those by hand.
Me too.
Well, a lot of people. All of them. So those who got corporate memberships, if the band season was canceled and other things were canceled that they wouldn't be able to participate in. So if they have chosen a package that included those, they were able to receive either a full or a partial refund. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman McMahon. Yes. Brown. Davis. Wilson. Richard. Jones.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Moya.
Yes.
Pickering. Yes. O'Kane.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. This time we will receive our public works committee report, Chairman Ford.
Probably the last time for a couple of weeks.
Second time in, I think, what, like 6 or 7 months?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. For today is resolution awarded bid number 659 from the 2020 overlay program. That's your approval. What's this entail exactly? I mean, how many feet or miles or? If you look at the map, it's not a lot of, not a huge area. You don't have some of the street names on there. We're doing a section of Orchard Street. I believe that's a section of English. I can't remember, I think that's called Alton Street down there. Off of Main Street. You're seeing a little section of Martin Street that's going to get done. And then section of Lake, as well as the east end of Voorhees Street before it takes the curve up by the second church. And all that is the overlay, and those areas were once again chosen because of the severity of the road condition. These are areas that doing the seal coat would not have corrected.
Carl, is this in color on the regular agenda?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Any further discussion on the bill? Roll call.
Alderman Brown. Yes. Russian. Richard.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Williams. Moya.
Yes.
Pickering. Yes. O'Kane.
Yes.
Iverson. Reed.
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Foster. McCann. Yes. Yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
13, these items of information, Director Carpenter. It's just two short items. We are tentatively scheduled to begin the seal coat program next week. And then tomorrow, they are scheduled to begin the final pavement application for Edward Street. I don't know if you've gone down there and looked at what they've done so far, but drive by probably Saturday, Sunday, and see the finished product. I think we'll all see what a small improvement in a road can do to a neighborhood, and what already we're beginning to see with some of the housing in that area. And Thanks goes out to the engineering staff for seeing that through. That's a tremendous project. And thank all of you for approving that project. That's all I have.
I don't know about the rest of us. Who I've talked to, they're really excited about it. And I don't think that area, so I know what it was like before.
As I say that, a lot of that goes to Sam and Eric and then here.
The sidewalk work by Family Dollar and so it's very, very nice.
It's gonna be a jam when it's completed, so thank you.
You know, a lot of times we've heard that we only work for certain areas of town, and I just want to say that I'm very proud of our staff for considering everyone, everyone contributing to the community, and supporting all that we can, take care of all parts of town. Unfortunately, there's never enough money to do everything that we need to do or would like to do, but I'm sure you will always be able to do our very best. The engineer and to our director and all their work, and Dr. Mr. Rui, have to make sure, sometimes I forget to recognize him, but he's the one overseeing all the road work to make sure they're doing it correctly, so we appreciate you, sir.
All right, Mayor, I don't think there's any more information, but I think so. Going to pass, we get any striping bids or any in-house. Yes or no?
Yeah. So we have, the operations crews are finishing up some other work, and we're gonna be able to start trying to figure out if we can fit that in operations schedule or not. We haven't made a final decision on that, but we did not award any striping bids. If we decide that's something that we will need to outsource still, that will probably be a next year bid at this point. So.
All right, Mayor, I believe that's it for public works and, they can remember what.
Which item is to, approve the city clerk's report.
Is there a motion to approve the clerk's report? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Second item is to accept the place on file the treasurer's report for June 2020.
Chairman, for the motion, it's been seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
We have a resolution approving the submission of a grant application for the 2020 and the Memorial Justice Grant, is that a grant?
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote.
Davis, Bouchard.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Toya.
Yes.
Pickering. Yes. O'Kane.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Reading.
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Foster. McMahon.
Yes.
Brown. Yes. 11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries.
Accepting the transfer of real property located in 210 Walnut Street.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate?
Where's that? 210.
We're literally right next to where we tore down the hall. This is a piece of property that Alderman Trolley is actually donating to us to help us make as large of a parking lot as possible. So we appreciate that. discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Benjamin, Richard. Stone.
No.
Williams.
Yes.
Korea. Hickory.
Yes.
O'Kane.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Streeting.
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Foster McMahon.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Davis. Yes.
And yes, motion carries.
Renewing and pricing the purchase real property, commonly known as 515.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate?
Is that Gordon Williams or something?
The old,
Yeah, I know, barber shop, right there where the joke is.
This is to help us straighten out William Street. Any further discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Richard.
Yes.
Stone.
Yeah.
Williams.
Yes.
Korea.
Yes.
Hickory. Yes. O'Kane.
Yes.
Iverson. Streeting. Ford.
Yes.
Foster McMahon. Brown. Davis. Benjamin. 11 yes.
11 yes, motion carries.
And then, will we be meeting in chamber on Tuesday?
Well, I previously said no, we came together because we had a special event tonight. It's the pleasure of this council what we do, and as you do see that we did have a number of people who were nervous, but I think sacrifice for the greater good. I feel safe myself, however, I know a number of people don't, so, I think probably for now, it's best to continue with remote meetings. We do have our laptops in place, and they are working on those, so that, if we have to continue to meet remotely for a while, at least we'll be able to see each other. We'll be able to help the meetings go a little bit better. I can't guarantee that we'll have those done, by this first week in September, but Agnew, Aaron, and their crew are in terms of working diligently, and it's our hope that by the second meeting in September, that we can certainly be able to meet that. Thank you, Vice Chairman. Yes, Alderman Agee. Yes, sir. It will be so much easier for me to be able to recognize you. Hopefully we wouldn't have that awful delay in saying those words. I feel like. I'm like, I almost need Alderman Brown to pray for us, but it won't sound good. I'm willing to reconsider that at any time. You all desire to meet in person at any time. I'm willing to make that happen. I think that, we can take steps to make it as safe as possible. At any time, you all wish to have it reconsidered, I'd be glad to. I could, what we could do at the next meeting is I could, either put it on the agenda as an official item, or we could do an unofficial straw poll to see what everyone's pleasure is, whether it's continue to meet in person or remotely. If you can make sure that we have that on the agenda. Okay, we'll make sure that that's on the next agenda. Thank you. Vice Mayor.
The meetings is legitimate. The phone council, we get a lot of people, but the committees, there's 7 of us and you, and 2 or 3 department heads, and maybe 3 people from the public. So I don't think that would be a problem. I think we should, at least with the committee.
I will definitely have that on the agenda. I'll have both. We'll ask for both the council, and then we'll also ask for the committee. We'll do them separately that way in case folks have a comfort level with one but not the other. We could still possibly work towards that. So. in September. And just so you'll know, although things have been crazy, we are still, Comptroller and I and all the department and division heads are still slogging through budgets so that we can have something reasonable put together for you. I also did want to, before I forget, to let you know, there have been a lot of questions and comments and concerns. Well, hey, are you watching $2 million for this year in revenue, and there's no way you're going to get it. We allocated that money in, to pay off debts earlier so that we could save ourselves some interest. So before we depart, I just wanted to have the comptroller give us a brief update on that.
So last year's budget, as you know, we showed a general fund revenue of $2 million for tax money. I just wanted to give you a high level breakdown of where that was intended to go. $800,000 of that was budgeted as part of a $900,000 interfund transfer to capital improvements. 800 of that was $100,000 of cannabis. That was to make early loan payments on 3 of our loans: the HVAC, the 2016 Ferrero, so fire truck, and the 2002 Pierce River. And then the remainder, 1.1 million, was to go to the two pension funds. So 670,000 was supposed to go to the fire pensions, and the remainder, 529,000, was supposed to go to
Those are going to be extra payments to help us pay off our obligations. So just so you'll know, we have not put ourselves in a hole. I would not budget prospective money for things that we had to act that we were certain we would have to.
Well, currently it's above because we've been receiving a cannabis use tax for the last 4 months that wasn't actually budgeted. It's small amounts, but our retailers' occupation tax for cannabis has yet to come through from the state. The state should have started collecting that July 1, and usually takes 2 months for us to realize sales tax revenue. So I'm expecting that in October.
Have we had any luck with the owner of the Sunnyside being able to apply to that marijuana?
Because it's going to take state legislation in order to make that happen. Our representatives are we are aware of them. I know that they have been advocating on our behalf kind of behind the scenes. So I just think it's something that we all want. I think it would be good. There are only a number allowed per police district, and unlike so places that already had medical use, they were allowed to get recreational use in their district. And essentially, it's just right now they should have allowed both, but they didn't, and so we're kind of stuck right now. Any other items of information for the good of the cause? I would just like to send a couple of shout outs. I want to thank Sandra Finch, our Human Relations Administrator. I also want to thank the folks at the United Way and Danville for all the work that they've done to help people get back on track with rent and other payments and to make sure that they're keeping on our homes. I also want to give a shout out to Logan and Natasha and their staff over at Christina over in our planning and development section for all the work that they've done, help get money in the hands of our businesses and our residents. It's really important. $1,200 doesn't seem like a lot to some folks, but a lot of people that's make or break, and it's really made a difference. I received calls, thank you notes and messages from people. So thank you guys for all of your work in helping people stay afloat during this time. Having satisfied the agenda, you'll be glad to know there's no need for closed session. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. We are adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone. Be safe. Back in service. Oh.
Yeah. Hey, Lisa. Did you ever